Hello, everyone. It's June the 7th on Wednesday. We've got a tough thing, to address today, and I'll get to that in just 1 second. But we do have the Secretary of Economic Development with us, Mr. Carmichael, and some other special guests, and a lot to cover, a lot of real good stuff and everything. But this is what I was referring to. This is the really tough stuff. Of course, I'm sure you all know that we lost a hero. We lost one of our own, one of our state troopers, Trooper Maynard. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I'm not going to read from a bunch of notes or anything, but there's plenty of evil in this world, and it seems like the further we go, the worse it gets, and this is just tragic beyond belief. We lost a young man with a very young family, and it's just awful. It's just plain awful. So, we'll be at his funeral today, and I just ask that all of you will join Kathy and I in prayer for this incredible man that we lost and his great, great, great family, and it's just terrible. So for Sergeant Corey Maynard, we'll miss you. Not to the magnitude of your family, but let's at least please do just this. Let's just not forget. He did something that so many people today, and so many people come upon an accident on the road, and maybe they just happen to be the first person upon the accident. There are those that will stop and try to do anything they can to help. And there are those, and that number seems to grow, that will just keep on going by and say, I don't want to get involved. If I get involved and do something maybe that's perceived in some ways by some lawyer or whatever to be wrong, I'm apt to get sued, so I'm just going to keep on driving. And it's the same, with people stepping up to do anything, to help kids, to coach a team, to, run for public office. Thank God we still have people stepping up. But we need to all step up. But absolutely those that drive on and those that step up don't need to ever forget a hero like this man. And so, like I said, I just hate it. I salute in every way all the brave men and women that run to the fire all the time. It's amazing. And the choice is something that we should never forget. So, our flags will be, we lowered them to half-staffed, immediately, and we'll keep them lowered until the services are over, and we'll put them back to full staff tomorrow. I should have saved that for last, but we have an appointment. I have appointed Diana Winston Reed to the 4th District seat in the House of Delegates. She's replacing Erica Storch. Erica, will miss you, but her area covers part of Ohio County, and You know, Diana is a Wheeling native. She has a background in marketing and consulting with the Fortune 100 companies. She's a real believer in West Virginia, that it's an attractive place, as I surely do too, you know, to bring companies of all different types and have them just see what we enjoy every day. I know she'll serve the people of Ohio County and serve them very, very proudly. So Diana Winzenreed, we appreciate you stepping up, and we welcome you to the House of Delegates. An economic development announcement, and Secretary Carmichael is with us, and also Senator, and you know, but today I'm excited to make another economic development announcement. Clean Seas is going to build a brand new facility in Quincy, which is in eastern Kanawha County. And always really good to see, you know, stuff moving towards southern West Virginia, and we work hard at that as well all the time. But this is where they're going to convert recycled plastics into clean fuels like hydrogen and whatever. West Virginia is proud to become Clean Seas' first United States facility and their home base of operations. And Secretary Carmichael, if you'd join us and tell us a whole lot more about this. Let me say one other thing real quick, and it's just this. According to the terms of the agreement, the project is anticipated to result in capital investments of at least $50 million and employ 40 full-time employees. So, Secretary, take over.
Well, thank you, Governor, and thank you for the solemn introduction to today's events and for the recognition of those who've given the ultimate sacrifice. And we commend you for your recognition of this and salute Sergeant Mayer and his sacrifice in the family. But today we are here joining you today with an incredible economic development announcement. As you mentioned, Clean Seas is a publicly traded company that has operations in various countries. This will be their first American operation, and they did once again a nationwide search for the best place in America to locate this facility. And after that extensive search, they selected the state of West Virginia, the town of Quincy, and we commend them for that incredible decision. With a $50 million investment, over 40 good, high-paying jobs in an area that, as you mentioned, we look to create additional economic growth and opportunities. And so this is once again, a continuation of the success that your administration has had with economic development announcements. At the end of the day, a job is more than a paycheck, and you know that. It's more than, it provides family security, opportunities for the future, a structure for our society, and just hope for the future generations. And so we fight very hard for each one of these jobs and opportunities in our state, and we are absolutely thrilled that this company will help alleviate the plastic recycling stream, and take that plastic recycling stream and turn it into great products for use in our energy resources, low sulfur, diesel fuel, graphene, all of the products that can be extracted from this plastic recycling stream while cleaning up our environment. So great company, and we welcome them as our newest corporate citizen to West Virginia. I think, Jordan, do we have the CEO with us of Clean Seas, Dan Bates, who we've gotten to know and look forward to working with him to continue the expansion in our state and work toward creating these great opportunities. So Dan, we welcome you to West Virginia, and look forward to helping you find great new home here in our state.
Thank you. Thank you, Secretary Carmichael. I appreciate it. And thank you, Governor Justice, for having us. We're very excited to be in West Virginia. I mean, we did an extensive search and we looked throughout the country for a state that was going to help us with the leadership and the thought leadership to what we can do environmentally and economically, providing great jobs, providing an opportunity to take what is really a blight on the country and the world, waste plastic, right? It's a crisis that we all have to deal with. And when we were hosted to come and visit by Delegate Linville, I could immediately see that West Virginia had the vision to not only bring the company Clean Seas and the parent company Clean Vision Corporation to West Virginia, but could assist us in establishing a footprint where we will start with 100 tons per day of plastic feedstock. And we expect to grow that to 500 or more over the course of the next year or two or three, whatever it takes. And then in concert with that, we're looking forward to helping the state develop its own robust recycling program so that we can not just take plastic and convert it, but we can help take the plastic resources that are available within the borders of West Virginia and really begin to make a difference in your state. We're looking forward to that, and I thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, thank you. We'll now hear from West Virginia Delegate Daniel Linville.
Thank you so much, Jordan and Governor Justice. Thank you for having us. Obviously, before I give any remarks, I want to say that my condolences and prayers are with the family of Sergeant Maynard and all of his colleagues at the state police and with all law enforcement today. And so, while that's a very solemn thing, we do have something very exciting to announce. That being another $50 million of investment in the state of West Virginia. And I'm so excited, and I thank the governor for his leadership and putting together a team that has resulted in billions and billions of dollars of economic announcements. And so this is yet another one. And the governor, I want to say to you, thank you for putting forward a regulatory process that gives certainty to companies and that allows us to be able to hit home run after home run. And growing up, you know, my dad told me that the best time to hit a home run was right after you hit the last one. And so we've got another one here. It's going to make a huge impact for 40 families to begin with. And I think as CEO Bates said just a moment ago, that ultimately could be, you know, a few hundred families who are employed there. So Governor, thank you for your leadership. Secretary Carmichael, thank you for your leadership as well, working through these items. And once again, we've got another home run. So I'm excited for the people of West Virginia, and I'm excited to have been able to work with these guys and bring them to the table. And I look forward to all the goodness that's going to come from that and the lives that will be impacted. So thank you very much.
Well, all of you, let me just touch on this just 1 second. You know, whether it's you know, our great CEO that just spoke to us and everything, you know, Dan Bates, or it's our Secretary Carmichael or Delegate Linville, you know, I've got to just say just this. If you just think about this, what would we have given not very long ago to have had 40 great paying jobs and coming right into Eastern Kanawha County? What would we have given 7 years ago for that to have happened? I mean, it's amazing what all is going on in West Virginia. And this is another from a long stream of economic development announcements that we've been able to do. And we want to just keep on doing them. I mean, that's all there is to it, because it brings opportunity and employment and so much, so much to West Virginians, but it gives us the opportunity as we go forward for our families to stay together. Our families don't need to be fragmented and be in Denver and Charlotte and Atlanta and all over the place. I've said it over and over, but when Edith wants to have a picnic this Sunday afternoon, she doesn't have to absolutely now be concerned with, you know, I'd like my grandkids to be here. I'd like my kids to be here. They're so far away. You know, West Virginia is the place. And so every single one of these announcements is really, really big. You know, Dan, we can never thank you enough, and we'll be appreciative, and we'll be appreciative forever. That's the fabric of West Virginians. But let me just say this too. I think, Dan, you mentioned this, but You said, we're going to start at 100 tons a day. Now think about that. You know, if that just blows right by, you just think of it this way. If a tractor trailer had 20 tons of plastic, that's 5 tractor trailers a day that we're going to be doing something that's going to be cleaning up the earth. And we're going to move, according to CEO Dan Bates just a few minutes ago, we're going to move to 500 tons a day. That's 25 tractor trailer loads a day that we're going to be absolutely cleaning up the earth. So with all that being said, I congratulate you and I welcome you, and absolutely I know with all in me that you'll love West Virginia beyond good sense. Once you really get to know the people, once you see the craftsmanship and all the great stuff that they're the fabric of who they are, you'll love this place. So we welcome you and just look forward to all the successes. We want you to excel in profitability and have all the wildest dreams in a positive way you could ever have. So thank you again for coming. Okay, I've got more stuff, that Secretary Carmichael's going to talk about and everything, but I am announcing the preliminary approval right now of $37 more million in the $1 billion program, in regard to our broadband strategy and everything. And Delegate Linville is right involved in this and a real resource in this as well. And so these are multiple infrastructure projects in West Virginia that are just going to bring more and more accessibility to broadband to all of our residents and businesses. But Secretary Carmichael talked to us about this too.
Well, thank you, Governor. As you know, and as all West Virginians know, broadband internet connectivity is the currency of the 21st century. We absolutely must have it for economic development, for healthcare delivery, for education delivery, for work-at-home initiatives, all of the things that make modern 21st century life prosperous and provide us with opportunity and hope. And nothing is more critical than connecting us with broadband throughout the state. West Virginia, when we took office, or when you took office, Governor, was ranked poorly in terms of internet connectivity and speeds availability. We are quickly moving up that ladder with an incredible team that manages the Office of Broadband. It rolls up underneath Secretary of Economic Development as your appointee, Governor. We are making incredible progress. West Virginia was the first state, one of the very first states to receive our federal allocation for these funds. We recently undertook an extensive data mapping activity that has resulted in additional homes being identified in West Virginia that for funding from the federal programs and so forth, and this has been 100% a complete initiative within the Office of Broadband as directed by you. And so as we continue this rapid deployment of broadband connectivity through the state, I think all West Virginians can take pride in this program as managed, and I'll give a shout out to Kelly Workman, who runs that division for our office. She's just done a fantastic job, and her entire team. And Governor, of all the success that we've had in West Virginia under your leadership, I think almost at the very top of that list should be our broadband programs as recognized throughout America and throughout the federal government as being really the flagship program for broadband connectivity in our state. And as we continue this march towards ubiquitous broadband connectivity through our state, we can step back in these moments in time and say, we did it right when we had the opportunity, and we're marching forward as quickly as possible. And many of you, the people throughout West Virginia will see work on the utility poles and all of the other things that are occurring to make our state the most connected one in the nation and continue our rise in terms of prosperity, economic opportunity, and broadband connectivity. So thank you to the broadband team and to all the citizens of West Virginia for helping us get to this point as we continue the climb.
No, Mr. Secretary, you know, I love, Mitch, you're all, in regard to this, you have incredible knowledge. And Daniel, I appreciate you as well. And, but that knowledge is worthless if you don't have real passion and real fire and enthusiasm, you know, to make that knowledge become a reality, and you're doing it. And I could not be more thankful or more proud. I've got to read just a couple of things to you. And this one says, the most recent update to the FCC map expands eligibility to 271,000 unserved locations in West Virginia, an increase of more than 80,700 locations now eligible for broadband funding. And then, you know, it goes on, if I could just read this last, because this is something we should really be proud of. There's no question what we've done, and I thank the legislature for stepping up. We joined hands, we went together, and lo and behold, look what's happening here. But to say it again, I am really proud of our Economic Development Department, our Office of Broadband, Broadband Enhancement Council, the community leaders, and West Virginia residents that all stepped up. We joined hands. We're on our way from last to first, and that's what we want to be. You know, if we can't be first, we're sure going to swing for first. And literally the world, as we connect, the world will begin to see more and more just how great West Virginia is. So an incredible effort that you know is funded by many millions of dollars, you know, through our dollars, through the federal you know dollars that come in to just make all this become a reality. But Kelly and all those, we thank all of you. Great work. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff to go through here today and everything. It's good stuff, but today I'm announcing that I have awarded $5,472,000 in West Virginia Community Corrections grants, and you know, that this encompasses over 30 projects. And what'll happen here is these community corrections grants, you know, just enable us to do projects in the communities, and these projects could be cleanup projects or whatever it may be, beautification projects within the different counties. And like I said, this is 30 different projects. It's a total of $5,472,000. These funds are administered by the Justice and Community Services sections of our West Virginia Department of Homeland Security, and so all this is more and more good stuff. Today I'm also announcing, you know, that we have awarded $2,118,000 in West Virginia Child Advocacy Center grants, and this is 22 different projects. And if I could just stop and just speak again from my heart, you know, if we're not big enough to step up and try to do anything we can to stop child abuse and the bad things, I mean, our kids in this are just, they're sacred to all of us and everything. And absolutely, with all that being said, you know, if you can't step up and try to help a child, and sometimes it gets complicated, and we can't just pull it off all just like that. But absolutely, this is more projects and more goodness to protect our children and give them the right to grow up and get on the way. You know, and I want to read one thing. These awards are focused on a multidisciplinary response to the investigation, treatment, prosecution of child abuse cases that are providing, you know, I mean, and prosecution of child abuse cases is by providing services like advocacy, education, forensic interviews, evaluations, and referrals. So this is just another step along the way to try to do anything and everything we can to try to stop this terrible problem. Maybe these grants will help and help in a big way. Now, if I could get to maybe some lighter stuff, I remind everybody again that the free fishing days are coming up on June the 10th and the 11th this weekend. Go fishing. I mean, for crying out loud. Won't cost you a nickel, absolutely. There's so many different things, still plenty of trout in our streams, but just take a kid and go fish for just a little while. I mean, it'll touch your soul. It's really, really good stuff. And so take advantage, please. On Friday, we'll be just right outside of Parsons for a groundbreaking ceremony on another project in the Kearns to Parsons section of Corridor H. Now, if I could just speak just again from my heart just a second on this. I said right from the get-go that Corridor H is the very top priority with me that has to get done. The second priority is the Coalfield Expressway. We need to connect southern West Virginia. And then there's many, there's projects we're working on all across this state. And we have made incredible improvement, and we're making things better. I really do believe that Corridor H will connect us to the whole Northeast, and we absolutely need to complete Corridor H. It'll bring opportunity. It'll bring businesses. It will bring absolute job opportunity off the chart. There surely has to be priorities, but at the same time, every single road is a priority. You see, you can't possibly be expected to get in your car and drive through potholes or whatever to try to get to the convenience store. We can't fix them all on day one. I hope you know to God above that I've been on this with all in me. And we started and things were in really, really tough shape. We'd been through a situation where we sold the very equipment that would do absolutely a lot of our own maintenance work. We absolutely didn't have any money to move forward either. Now we do. And along the way, we've scraped together enough. We passed an incredible deal, with the Roads to Prosperity program, and off we went. Just think. And absolutely, I want you to know that I give credit to all kinds of people. It was an honor to be with them and everything. But just imagine what has happened, really and truly, when we didn't have anywhere to turn. The good Lord gave me an incredible idea, and that is, how do you create instant revenue, an instant job? And that's where Roads to Prosperity came into play. That's when I went before the legislature and said, this is what we need to do. Here on the first state of the state, this is what we need to do. And lo and behold, it did just that. It created thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs of folks that were working all across West Virginia. It started us on the pathway with revenue. It started us on the pathway of healing from the standpoint of changing our image in many ways. We said, make education our centerpiece. And lo and behold, off we went. And so with us moving forward and closer to completing Corridor H, it's really, really, really profound. So we'll be there on Friday, and for another groundbreaking ceremony. It'll be really good. A little while after that, or I think that's after that and everything. We'll be going to open up a brand new Department of Veterans Assistance, in office in Elkins. This is the 9th office, in regard to veterans that we've improved or changed or made handicap accessible, or all the different things that we've been doing. But now get this. Offices like this are the first step for veterans in connecting with their earned benefits. How many times have I said this? We owe everything that we have, first and foremost, to God above. But everything we have in this great country, we owe it to our veterans or our active military. Now, we do. We absolutely do. And we've had heroes that have given the ultimate sacrifice, and we should never forget them. We just talked about Sergeant Maynard just a little while ago. We should never forget all the great veterans that gave everything, the ultimate sacrifice for all of us, for every single one of us. Now get this, the veterans benefits, or the VA benefits to veterans in the state amounted to more than $2.77 billion last year. How important is that to West Virginia? I mean, the administration and the help, you know, with these great people to be able to facilitate and make things better and easier and everything. How much do these people mean? I mean, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. So again, we thank our great veterans, and we're going to open up a brand new facility in Elkins, and later on Friday, first we'll be, up on Quarter H, and then we'll be moving back to Elkins. That's all I got. So anyway, we'll take your questions now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning, Governor, and other guests and fellow reporters. Governor, this may be an indelicate question to ask today, but I've got to ask it because a lot of people have been calling me and wondering about it. Would you support instituting the death penalty in West Virginia for anyone who murders a first responder? It just seems like there's been an onslaught the last few years. Cassie Johnson here in Charleston, Deputy Tom Baker in Nicholas County last year, and now Sergeant Corey Maynard. There are a lot of people out there that think that maybe the death penalty would be a deterrent. Maybe it should just be restricted to the murders of first responders. But I wonder what your thoughts are, especially since the Republicans hold a clear supermajority in both the House and the Senate. It seems to me this is something that might come up in the legislative session this coming year, and I'm wondering if you would support it and what your thoughts are.
Well, Mark, let me tell you, you know me, and you know me really well. And, I don't dodge any questions. I try to give you a straight up answer as best I possibly could. And I would say that I would always be one that would be open-minded and listen to all the parties, and all the views. And you surely caught me cold in response to the question. But I would tell you, Mark, unless somebody came with a hell of an argument, I would be 1,000%, supportive, because I think it's just these people are the very people that run to the fire, as I've said, the very people that protect it, the very first person that you call, when you got a problem, the very, very, very first people we reach out to, and if one of them is murdered such as this, I would be very supportive. I don't know how I can say it any more straight up than that.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next to Kenny Bass with WCHS and Fox 11.
Hi. First of all, condolences, of course, to the family and friends of Sergeant Maynard, and thank you to a lot of my friends in the West Virginia State Police and those I don't know who seemingly put up with endless violence and senseless stupidity, and yet still go out there every day to protect us. So thank you very much to them. Governor, when talking about the business coming to Quincy, it's a couple of things that come to mind. One is it's not just recycling plastic, but in West Virginia, it might be a culture change to get people not only to recycle, but this history we've had with junk and trash over the years. Living here your whole life, I've lived here my whole life. I know the story. So how much of a challenge is it changing the culture to the you or the secretary? And also, what was the reason for the company coming here? Why did it decide to come here? They said leadership, but what was it about leadership? What was it about West Virginia that was more attractive than anywhere else in the country? And also, are we offering them some type of incentives to come here and tax breaks or some aid from the state, something like that? Can you go a little bit more into that package? Thank you.
Well, Kenny, I'm going to defer to Secretary Carmichael in just one second, but I do want to say just this. Kenny, I can remember in West Virginia, and this tells Shirley how old I am, but I can remember, when it was commonplace for people that Shirley knew a lot better, that would stop and get what we called a pop, that was a Coke or something like that, or a bottle of orange pop or whatever like that, and drink it and just toss the bottle right out the window. I've seen it many, many, many times. You could drive up and down the roads and there was trash in lots and lots and lots of places and everything that it's not today. But it still needs to get better, doesn't it? And so maybe this will even help even more to a change that has been evolving, and it evolved in a big way, but it could get better. And so Secretary Carmichael, if you could answer the balance of the question, please.
Well, thank you, Governor. And first, let me say, I'm going to date myself as well, because those people that perhaps threw a pop bottle out the window, it was a group of guys in our neighborhood that would go pick them up for like 5 cents and go to the movies and go to the bowling alley on the retrieving of those bottles and so forth. But and when back to the company, from that perspective, when they flew in here and looked at and you've mentioned it over and over and over, Governor, this is the most beautiful state in America. And for us to be able to take care of it and make sure that it is remains pristine and clean and so forth is a testament to the company for the reasons they're coming here and for the people of West Virginia. And Kenny, one of the primary reasons for locating here in West Virginia as they're doing their nationwide search, a couple of things, and I think it drives the entire economic development that you're seeing occurring in West Virginia as well, is the geographic location is just ideal. And we've been able to, with the governor's leadership and so forth, highlight the proximity. And as the pandemic has revealed the supply chain components of various businesses for both their supply chain and the offtake agreements, their customers, the proximity to these Northeast markets and our great transportation network is paramount in the company's minds. And so Clean Seas and Dan Bates recognize that. And then furthermore, one of the biggest advantages we have is the ability to make quick decisions. And so we did that. Again, the governor's chartered us to make sure that we take care of every customer need. We refer to these prospects as customers. They are our customers. We treat them with respect. We make quick decisions. We get the information to them, and then we move forward. And they received a modest incentive package that incentivizes the company to invest $50 million in Quincy, West Virginia, and to hire 40 employees at high wages. And furthermore, we don't fund any of these projects unless there's private health care provided from the company, so that we have that health care component, retirement packages. All of those things are incumbent upon the company to receive the incentive package from the state of West Virginia. And we're very proud to have consummated this transaction.
And Kenny, let me read you this. This is from my notes and everything, but so I can be more specific. But the agreement we signed with Clean Seas provides up to $1.75 million in performance-based loans, along with tax and employment incentives, which will help them get the project completed and going. But understand, $1.75 million, if they do really, really good and they do what they're supposed to do for a $50 million investment, it's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal from our side. So nevertheless, that's what it is. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kitty. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. My question was for Secretary Carmichael about our broadband funding. Can you tell us the next steps in that program? I think the next tranche of federal funds are supposed to be announced at the end of this month. Is that correct?
We anticipate the program is referred to as BEAD, the acronym, and we anticipate with the additional addresses now that we've been able to identify through our mapping portals that, and I'm hesitant to throw out a number, so but we know it's going to be between probably 300 million to 800 million. I know that's a wide range, but I don't want to jinx us. But I think we're on a great path to receive substantial federal funding. And I'll just highlight the fact that the federal programs and those who are evaluating the programs as implemented on the state levels have been nothing but complimentary and using West Virginia as the example for the other states to emulate in terms of our mapping portals, the manner in which we've structured our programs, the ways in which we're deploying the funds for internet connectivity. And then one of the great aspects of our program is the post-award monitoring, where we actually go out and check to make sure that the providers have performed as they were intended to do. And we're relying on private sector companies that have experience in this industry to deploy the assets. And so we've really feel good about what we've done from an internet connectivity perspective. And so, long way of answering, we anticipate the next award, the next steps will be toward the end of this month.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next to Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Wait just a second, Curtis. I've got a comment just a second on Mitch and give him a hard time. $300 to $800 million range? I mean, for crying out loud. My dad used to always tell me, son, you don't have to always be in the right pew, but get yourself in the right church at least. But my gosh, Mitch, I'm just teasing. Good job, son. Good job. Curtis, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. I enjoyed the joke there, for sure. 1 month ago, Governor, Charleston firefighters were unable to save a home because of faulty hydrants. I started digging into the issue and found the same thing happened last year at a Pizza Hut in Danville. In fact, we toured Danville and found even more problems. One hydrant producing so little water, the fire chief telling me he would be unable to save a state police barracks, a health department, and a nursing home all close by. And the same story for another hydrant, just 50 feet from a double wide. The utility in question, West Virginia American, refusing to tell us which hydrants are working and which ones remain on small water mains. All of this while the same company has doubled water rates and is currently asking the PSC for another increase. And we're hearing of problems elsewhere in the region as well. Have you had a chance to watch our investigation? What are your thoughts on having a hydrant so close to a home or workplace, only to hear firefighters say it won't produce enough water to save it and put out a fire? And should greater transparency be required from water utilities, such as which utilities are which hydrants are working and which ones remain on small water mains? Why or why not?
Well, Curtis, let me say this, okay? There's times when I think Curtis gets out over his skis, but this surely isn't that. This is ridiculous, Curtis. That's all there is to it. I am right dead with you. I mean, there's no question whatsoever that the legislature, the Public Service Commission, ought to look into this and everything in any way, because you're dead on the money. I mean, we have very, very, very high water rates in West Virginia. It is preposterous. I mean, this is something like, I hate to say this because it sounds terrible, but this is something you'd see in a comedy, where great firemen would run to a fire hydrant and everything, and it wouldn't work. I mean, these great people, our great firemen that are willing to run right into the fire and do anything and everything to save property. And I think, in one of these situations, we didn't lose life, but we lost a family pet, a family dog and everything. Well, for crying out loud, I just think it's just terrible. That's all there is to it. And we should absolutely investigate, and absolutely with all in me, I'm going to recommend exactly just that. And I think you're right on the money. I really appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and we need to get to the bottom of it. You're dead right. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Absolutely, without any question, you're splitting the bullseye. So thank you so much, Curtis.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Next to Nikki Walters with WOWK.
Hello, Governor. I wanted to ask you about the Pleasance Power Station and the latest with that. I was actually in town yesterday and heard there might be some news coming soon on that. And so I just wanted to know if you had any updates for me about the Pleasance Power Station.
Nikki, I don't have any specific updates, but I can tell you in generalities, that I've had a bunch of discussions with people that are on the inside. I don't have concrete answers to be able to tell you. I do think that we're very, very, very close to a solution that will save the power plant. We need to absolutely do that. I mean, this power plant is, I think, in the second best shape of any of those in the state. And if there's anything we absolutely need to save, especially for that community and that incredible county that needs it so badly, I think it's 152 odd jobs, that are direct jobs there. Maybe as many as 400 coal mining jobs that supply the plant, and then all kinds of vendors and everything on top of that. It is so important, and we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop till some way, somehow, we pull off something, that works. And my, I mean, I don't have, a magic wand that I can say guarantee, but because this is outside of my realm, but we're going to absolutely, not quit until we some way, somehow make this a reality. But I do think we're close. And in fact, I'm meeting with one of the principals tonight at 6:30, and there's a whole lot we've got to do. I'm going to be going to Mingo County just a little bit here, and we got a lot of different places to go. But nevertheless, I am meeting with one of the principals tonight at 6:30 on that very topic.
All right, thanks, Nikki. Governor, back to you.
Well, we've covered a lot of stuff, and a lot of good stuff. As far as grants, many, many, many exciting things that are happening in West Virginia right now, and we want to keep all that going. But I want every single one of you to remember Sergeant Maynard. I want you to remember his family, and I want you to never forget him. All this exciting good news doesn't mean much to those folks right now. So please remember them, and keep them in your prayers. Thank y'all.